showing you some of the pictures that we got in from our, oh, that's not right.
Screw, no, you know, it doesn't, it just screws on. Oh.
Are you guys seeing a PowerPoint?
We see a pumpkin that's carved.
All right. Kind of like that?
Yep.
That says GOF?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one that collapsed in your office?
I took it out of the office. So, just scrolling through some of the saints that we had last week. This is Hudson and Hadley. Anyone remember who they are? Or who the character with the big bishop's hat is on?
Mm-hmm.
If you guess St. Nicholas, I think you're right.
That looks like St.
And then we have Reef. And she was St. Therese of Hungary. Oh, Mr. Mark. He was portraying St. Michael the Archangel, defender of armies and the head of God's army. And we had Braden, who drew the short straw in the family and had to wear the big beard. He was Anthony the Abbot. And Brian was Saint Focus the Gardener. Oh, and then we had Rosie, and she was Mother Teresa.
Oh, you're Saint?
And Lizzie was Saint Elizabeth. Oh, and I call this picture the 4 Franks. I'm going to need the Wicklotches to chime in here and tell us who the 4 Francises are here.
Wayne was Francis de Geronimo. I was St. Francis of Rome. James was St. Francis Xavier, and Terry was St. Francis Cabrini, also known as Mother Cabrini.
Otherwise known as the 4 Franks. Nora was St. Teresa Lisieux. And James and Liam were St. James the St. James the Greater, sorry. And Malaya was helping her mom portray St. Gerard. So those were some of the saints that we had last week. We had over 20 saints that we got to learn about. So thanks all for doing that. And with that, I think we're going to jump into some of our small group time. And we're going to take 5 minutes in a small group. And you're going to get to introduce yourselves to the other people in your small group. And one of the things I'd like you to share is what's one holy moment you've had since we last met? So one holy moment since the time that we last met. So in a short time, you're going to be teleported to your rooms and just accept the invitation if it comes through as an invitation. And then we'll gather back in about 5 minutes.
You have to say that that pumpkin is sick.
All right, everyone ready? Here we go.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
I can't tell if anybody is, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
We can see you. It's okay.
All right. Yeah, I know. We have people in the family, and for some reason, it's on right on me.
Well, you're in,
Yeah.
Because you're the teacher. I think it's white on me.
Oh, you're nice.
I'm in the center of
All right. So holy moments.
who has had a holy moment? Everyone should have had one. Hopefully, I'm sure.
Well, I think trick or treating was a holy moment because it felt kind of normal in this whole COVID age when everything's been canceled and closed, and was nice to get out with the kids and do something, although it was socially distanced, and people like the Vanden Hootens had a very clever way of delivering candy. And I think it was nice to just have that sense of normalcy.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it was great seeing everyone kind of walking around and getting to talk to some neighbors that maybe we haven't seen in a while. So I would agree with that. I think just getting outside too, I mean, especially this week, the weather has been so beautiful so far, is just getting out and appreciating the surroundings and what we have left of the fall color.
I have to ask how you guys handed out candy.
I'll let Matt explain.
It was very simple. It was a 12-foot plastic gutter from Menards. It was like $3 or $4. Top of it was on a step ladder, and it went down a chute, and we had lights on it. So the girls took turns going up and like dropping it down into that would slide down into the kids' like baskets or bags or whatever. So.
Oh, that's so cool.
Kept it safe, socially distanced. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and a lot of the little kids that came by got a kick out of it. So we might do it again next year, whether we need to or not.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's really neat. Let's see, and who else wants to say anything?
We went to church last week, so that was kind of nice.
Yay! What did you guys think?
Yeah, we've been going all along. We missed a couple weeks, but it makes it feel more normal going again. Yeah, it was nice.
It is interesting, the difference between how it, a pack 10:30 was to now with 90 people. But
Yeah.
Less people.
A lot less people.
Can you guys hear us?
We can.
Okay. One for us would be that our daughter Kaylin here, she got confirmed the weekend before last. She wasn't able to do it during the normal with the rest of the group because she actually had COVID. So everything's good now, and she was able to get confirmed. So that was our really cool, good feeling to be in church again.
Oh, congratulations. That is exciting. And you're feeling good?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, she only had like the loss of taste and smell, so she really didn't get sick, luckily.
My lights make us. Sure.
Yep.
Wow.
I'll turn the light on.
Well, that's great. You were confirmed. That's awesome. For us, I'd say holy moments. My son Pip likes to draw pictures, so he said that's his holy moment of drawing pictures for people and making them smile.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah. So it's nice doing these little breakouts quickly. Looks like we have 10 seconds remaining. Oh my goodness. And they're going to pull the plug on us.
They're gonna get that update. No, there's a little bit that comes up that says which ones it's up for.
Oh. Hold on. Oh. Hello.
Hello. We're the first ones.
Are we supposed to be back in the main room now? Oh, we are. Oh, it worked.
person.
No, you had the rest of the last of it,
So I
remember?
can make chocolate.
No, not now. I'm sorry.
All right. Hope your conversation went as good as ours. We're going to move forward then with the scripture focus that we have. This session is based on the Beatitudes, which were what was the gospel reading this past Sunday for All Saints Day. So Brian and Xavier have agreed to share the gospel with us. So Brian and Xavier, whenever you are ready.
When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. He began to teach them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land.
Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the clean of heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are they who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they insult you and persecute you, and utter every kind of evil against you falsely because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven."
Thank you. We're going to have a lot of time to talk about these, but what I'd like to do is take a minute, actually about 5 minutes, and hear how Father Bob reflected on the idea of All Saints Day and the idea of the Beatitudes.
And thanks a lot for being here, and thanks again for joining us online. As we began the Mass, again, I just invited us to think of our loved ones who have passed away, to intentionally invite them to join us for Mass. They always join us for Mass, but I think sometimes intentionally we need to do that, to remind ourselves of the connection. What I'd like to do today is, again, turn to our buddy Bruce Springsteen and his new album, Letter to You. He's got a song on there called Ghosts, perfect song for Halloween. And I'm going to use that kind of frame my thoughts, and there's a link on the website to go to the video. But just a little background on it. His first band, he was really his second band, but his really first band that really formed him as a performer, musician, a writer, was the Castiles, which he joined in the mid-'60s. And there's pictures of that in the video. And one of the songs on the album is Last Man Standing, because he's the last man standing from that band. All of the rest have died. You know, one died in the Vietnam War, one died recently of cancer, but he writes the song because he's the last man standing. My parents were the last person standing from their family. My dad lost his two sisters and brother, I think within about 6 months of each other, just quickly. And my mom was the last one in her family. It was a weird feeling for them. The last person standing from the family. Now his band is the E Street Band, and again, he's lost members there. Clarence Clemens, the big saxophone player, Danny, the keyboardists, and you see pictures of them in the video. His dad has died, his mother has Alzheimer's, and a friend of his, John Prine, died of COVID during this time. His journey is just like ours. The journey of love, journey of being a human being. It's the same journey for all of us. And his song reflects that. The song Ghosts. He sings in the song, I hear the sound of your guitar coming from the mystic far. Out there somewhere, the music comes to him. Those who have gone before him. It's the same thing we heard in the book of Revelation that Matt read. The saints, the white robes, sealed, and they sing, salvation comes from our God, who is seated on the throne and from the Lamb. They are singing in the Lord's presence, the mystic far. In the second reading he read, St. John states that we're all family. We're all children of God. Those that have gone before us, those who are with us now, and those that will follow. We're all one family because of Jesus Christ. And so Bruce Springsteen in the song sings to those in the mystic fire, I need you by my side, your love, and I'm alive. And then he makes this powerful song, verse. I can feel the blood shiver in my bones. And in the video, they show him, performing live. It's the power of divine love, shivering in our bones. And then when we sense that, and we feel that shiver in our bones, then we can do what the Lord has asked us to do in the gospel that Bob read. We can comfort those who mourn and be comforted. We can thirst for righteousness and follow through on that thirst. We can show mercy and also ask for mercy. We can be a peacemaker. And when we fall ourselves in trouble, persecuted for doing what the Lord has asked us to do, we will rejoice and be glad because the Lord is with us. So where do we go from here? His song says this. He says, I'm going to turn up the volume. Let the spirits be my guide. And then he says, and this is the Feast of All Saints and All Souls on Monday, meet you, brother and sister, on the other side. The connection with those in the mystic fire. That's why we celebrate All Saints' Day. We're not alone. And then in the song, he makes the commitment. I make my vows to those who've come before. He knows as he plays this music, all those that have come before him that influenced him, that creates this music now. And he says, I make my vows to those who have come before to continue the music. We do the same when we come up to receive Eucharist. That's a vow. It's a blessing, a spiritual communion for those watching online. It's a time where we turn up the volume in our lives of those that have gone before us and the gift of the grace the Lord continues to bless us with. So I invite all of us here, all of you watching, let's turn up the volume and live as missionary disciples of the Lord, just like those that have gone before us, with their help and the grace of the Lord. Thanks a lot for listening. I invite you, if you have the bulletin.
So what I'd like you to do is take about 5 minutes with your families and talk about these questions. You can talk about one of them, you can talk about both of them. What did you hear in the gospel or the homily that caught your attention? Or if you want a different twist on it, what did you hear in Father Bob's homily that you can apply to living your faith? What did you hear that you can apply to living your faith better? Okay, so you got about 5 minutes to talk about either the gospel reading, something that caught your attention, or something that Father Bob brought up in his homily that you can apply to living your faith. You have 5 minutes starting now. Looks like we had some good ones going there, and I am going to invite Meg to come forward and talk about the next thing that we're going to be working on.
Myself there. I unmuted myself. Look at that. Speaker view. There I am. Hi, I did it. I'm really excited about that. Okay. Welcome everyone. I hope we had some good family discussions. So in your packet this week should have the My Family Beatitudes booklet. And in here, we'll list on each page the 9 Beatitudes in the Gospel of Matthew. There'll be 1 page per Beatitude. And then if you open it up, so on the inside, it's best to explain with a visual. It would say like Beatitude number 1, and then the verse, and then it would say what it is. And then below it, there are blank lines and then a big blank area. So then what you can do is use it as like a family tool to come together and explore each of the Beatitudes. So you'd look at it, read it, and then thinking about it, rewrite it into a different way that would fit your understanding. And you could also, for an example, how it fits into your life, and then even draw a picture about it. Another way to, I guess, interpret and understand what that beatitude is. So then tonight we're going to focus on putting everyone in groups and starting everyone with one of the beatitudes. And Kat, I'm going to throw her the baton again.
We're gonna practice one of these tonight. So first of all, Meg, thank you for the booklets. These are really awesome. If I had to do a quiz, I wouldn't have gotten all the Beatitudes. So it's nice to have them in one spot. So what we're gonna do tonight is in your groups, we're going to work on one of the Beatitudes, kind of talk about it. What does it mean? We can maybe even draw some pictures in a group. And then the super awesome part, really, it is that each group is going to come up with a gesture that helps exemplify their beatitude. So for example, if there was a beatitude like blessed are the joyful, I don't think there is one, but then we could have like this and big smiles and something fun like that. So each group is going to look at the beatitude that they're assigned, have some discussions, and then come up with a gesture. And then when we get all back together again, each group will be able to share that gesture with the large group. So with that, Jamie, are you headed off to split us up again?
Yep, we're all set. So here we go.
Look at that. We're back all in the same fun group.
On this side so we can see.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's see, are the Ryan Old Cross? There we go. Yay. Let's see, is there anyone else that's going to be joining us? It's a mystery.
Maybe Karen Rader.
Okay. Well, so do you guys have your wonderful booklets out by you somewhere?
Yes.
We are in the Beatitude number 6 group. So if you would like to turn to Beatitude number 6. And who wants to read this lovely Beatitude?
No. No, Jacob doesn't.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
Great job. Okay. Now we're supposed to, thinking about it, rewrite it, or I guess how it affects our lives. So for me, looking at it, pure of heart, I really don't use pure of heart in my normal conversing. What do you guys think of another way to say that?
Everyone's clamoring to talk.
Honest people.
Good. Honest. No. Yeah, honest.
Less than honest.
Thinking about what's in your heart. I think it's partly good intention. So if you're pure in your heart, you're doing things for the right reasons.
Genuine or kind-hearted.
You gotta be louder because it'll flip to you if you're loud enough.
Let's say it again.
We had kind or genuine. Are we not?
I heard you. I'm sorry. I'll have to start.
No, sorry, because like
Thank
usually
you
it
for your
was,
answer.
with Zoom. Usually when you talk, you go to the main screen, and I don't know if we were if we were there or not. So kind or genuine.
That was a very kind answer.
You were front and center, man. No more.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what he was looking for.
Good intentions with that one. Yes. What about another way to do, where did you take my mouse? You did. How to say, like, they shall see God. That always seems like foreboding.
I got it.
Yeah. You're gonna die.
Just rephrase it as only the good day, young man. I know the way.
Can I see what we can I see the honestly? Can I see how many we
Say it louder.
Scream for me.
They shall have peace.
They shall have peace?
Peace, yes. They
That's
shall
a-
have peace.
They shall have peace. Blessed are the good intentioned, kind-hearted, free from selfishness, whole people, for they shall find peace. So what should we do for a gesture then? What do you think would be? Right? Right? Seems like a cop-out though.
A peace sign inside of a heart.
There you go.
What are you trying to do? This. Put your peace sign behind it.
How does Wicca? Like make a heart?
or do the peace sign and then like
Yeah.
make a heart around it.
There you go. Oh, see, I can't.
Yeah.
Oh, you can draw the peace sign. I'll draw the heart.
With our fingers? The fingers?
Like do that. Make a heart. Make a heart.
Me?
Yeah, we can make
Like make a heart and then do peace. Like
No, on the paper.
well no, we have to do a gesture.
too, though.
Like this. Someone else.
I don't know. Yeah.
Someone make the other side. No, someone make the other
No,
side.
like have one person do heart, one person do peace.
I have big hands, so I mean, there's a huge difference.
You do a heart. And you keep.
I don't know.
No.
Do
Yeah, I like that.
No,
do heart then peace.
you do a heart.
That's a good one.
Too small.
I'm
a heart.
Half heart, half peace.
There you
I
go.
think that's a good one.
Sorry, but my card.
No, we gotta do it like this.
Kind of like not a hard one. At first, I thought this was going to be a hard one.
What?
6 minutes left.
Get
So
the
we do-
A picture?
so we just
How
we
does
just do-
this? Can anyone find how this like relates to their lives?
It's too small.
Besides, like trying to be a good person.
It's a good
Just like this. It's good. Good job. Well, I think sometimes if you have a hard decision to make and you know what you decide might be the harder road, it's comforting to know that you can have peace in your heart and know that you're doing the right thing even though it's really hard. That can bring me peace if I am struggling with something and I say, okay, but I know this is the right thing. This is what I should be doing. So I know it's going to be hard to do that tomorrow or whatever, but then I'm at peace because I know God will be with me even though it's going to be hard.
That's a really nice way to say it.
Get this out.
Still trying.
This thing.
I just put the basic piece. Good intention, genuine.
You're right, and he shouldn't have been. It was a tiny.
Is anyone drawing a picture? Oh, you can be kind. Look, someone. See?
We'll show it. You don't want to admit it.
Dylan's drawing a picture.
You want to hold it up? It's probably hard to see.
No. Hey, a heart and.
A peace sign.
Peace sign.
Nice.
No.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I like that.
Show it. They couldn't see yours to saw the.
Oh, he's,
Nice.
that's a really good hand.
Yeah, Michael.
Really good.
Oh, that's good.
So does it have to do with the heart
In their house. Yeah.
I do.
What's happening?
The top.
It's like
It's a can with a top.
Oh, yeah.
Handle.
Jar.
Okay, well, you have to do it. You have to explain it.
You put a candle in it.
That's
It's just gonna be a plain old watch for me very much.
I want to be painted with gems.
Yeah, you get that LP.
Okay. Okay. Here.
Oh, wow.
Here, my son Pip did this one. And
Nice.
can you explain it, buddy?
a person fell on a bike, but someone's not helping. That's the piece, but the bottom is. The bottom is the piece.
And then those are 2 fingers, so like the peace sign.
Yeah. Very nice.
So
Good job.
So when we get back, they're gonna say, who wants to do the gesture? And then we're gonna say, the Vandenhoens.
So we're gonna do it?
You can do it.
Wait, me and you together? There. Oh, you're gonna do that?
Peace sign in the middle.
There we go.
That's
All right.
awesome.
Great. I was on the corner.
Through the heart. You do it however you feel.
Nice.
Time's up.
Awesome. I love it.
Leave it.
Oh,
Goodbye.
our breakout rooms are ending. We'll see you.
There's sound.
It's probably, it's
I
probably
really
breaking
believe
short.
it's in there.
We could leave.
All right. Now this is when it's going to get fun. Okay. So I say.
Don't need to use it.
So what we're going to do is we have 6 Beatitudes, and each of our groups have one of those Beatitudes. When it's your group's turn, okay, you have a person or a family that has volunteered or was volunteered to read the Beatitude and demo your gesture. All right, so we're going to let you do that, and then we're going to copy your gesture. All right, so our group is number 1, and so when the omens lead our gesture and our beatitude, you'll see Reese do our gesture, but then we're all going to copy that. Everybody that's on the Zoom call is going to copy it. Okay, then we'll go on to the next one and the next one. So we're all learning the gestures, and then we're going to use all those gestures in our closing prayer. All right, so you got 6 gestures to learn. So our first one that we have is Beatitude number 1. So Reese, Russ, Jenny, can you lead us in that?
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And Reese is going to do our gesture, which is kneeling for those that can't see her as well on the Zoom call. So we expect all you to be kneeling with us right now as a gesture of the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
All right, so let's all kneel then.
Can't see it.
Okay.
All right, the next one is Beatitude number 2.
Number 2. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. It's blessed for they who mourn, for they will be comforted.
Okay, one more time. That was a tough one.
Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted.
All right.
Okay.
The next one is Beatitude number 4. Who's hungering and thirsting?
That's us.
So Beatitude number 4 is blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied.
So much for simple gestures. Lizzie, help us through that one more time, okay? Because that was a lot for us.
Okay.
So the first one is rubbing your belly like you're hungry.
Okay.
And the next one is the motion of drinking.
Drinking.
Thirst.
Okay.
And then you have a smile.
Righteousness.
Okay.
And then satisfied, the
Thumbs up. All right. Sounds good. All right. Next one. Beatitude number 6. Something about pure.
Oh.
Who's leading us in pure?
Okay, so we had blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
So we decided that the more is the heart, and then you'd find peace when you find God. Pretty cool.
Heart.
What if you only got 2 hands?
Then you got to break and do the peace sign after.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. Everybody got that? Heart and peace sign. Okay. And speaking of peace, that's our next one, number 7. Peacemakers.
All right.
Bless,
Yep.
blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the people of God.
All right. There is our handshake, our peace sign. So it's a 2-parter, a handshake and a peace sign.
Okay. Next one is, persecuted people. Beatitude number 8. You were with Jamie and Sue.
All right. Do you want me to read it? Actually, I think it's going to be activated by our voice. So, Food family.
Yes. She read it? Yes.
Oh, yeah. Should we start it?
Please.
Yep, go ahead.
All right.
Okay, I have to read it. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So explain what you did.
So I booed, as in persecuted.
And I prayed, and then when she said kingdom of heaven, I pointed up at heaven like it was my king, like I was the son of, like I was there.
Okay. So it's a boo and a prayer and a, okay.
Pointing to heaven.
Yep.
Good job.
Whew. It's getting harder. And is that's our 6, right? Okay, then part of the reason, or not part of the reason, the Beatitudes are wonderful because they teach us to look at life differently. Okay, they lead us in looking at life in a different way so that we can live closer to what Jesus taught us. Okay, so as we do our prayer tonight, as we do our actions and our Beatitudes, let's remember that what we're doing is we're asking God to help us live in this way. Okay, when we're praying that blessed are the poor in spirit, we're asking God to help us be poor in spirit. When we're praying, blessed are they who mourn, we want to, show solidarity with those people who are mourning. When we're asking about hunger and thirsting for righteousness, we want to be hungry and thirsty for righteousness and to make the world a more just place. We want to be the pure in heart. We want to be the peacemakers. We want to be those who continue to live faithfully to God, even when things get hard and people make fun of us and we're persecuted. Okay? Because we're following the example of Jesus. This is the way Jesus lived, and this is the way that we want to live. All right, so let's begin then. So what we're going to do is we'll begin with the sign of the cross, and then each of our leaders, okay, will come on and they will lead us in their beatitude and their motions, and we will do the motions along with them. Okay? So let's begin our prayer then in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Russ, Jenny, and Reese, can you start us off?
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Beatitude number 2.
Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted.
Beatitude number 4.
Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied.
Thank you. Beatitude 6.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
Beatitude 7.
Okay, let's see.
I did.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called people of God.
Peace.
Beatitude 8.
Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
And then if we can all together pray this prayer. Lord, I am grateful for your humble service.
Give me a humble,
willing heart
serve
to serve the needs of your people. Amen.
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 So if you would all mute your mics for a moment. And I'm going to, I just want to say thank you for doing that. And thank you for your great motions. Those were really cool. So we have some announcements and just some things we want to bring to your attention about things that are happening with our different age groups and things that are happening in our community. So I'm going to turn it over to Patty.
We are going to move to my dad's phone so you can see it over there.
There we go. So we are going this weekend, we are going to celebrate All Souls and the remembrance of all the people that died this past year. But this special year, we gave all of you guys a bag with stuff to make an altar. Do you guys remember that sort of? And what I want to show you guys is the altar that we make in our house every year. And in Mexico, for the Day of the Dead, we make an altar.
And the altar has stuff that you guys have in your baggies, like the little skulls. We decorated some of them. Our altars have stuff that people that died liked when they were alive. Sometimes they put toys and things like that. In our altar this year, that picture, it's Angel's grandma that she passed away this year, but everybody else in the altar passed away years before, and they are always, we are just adding people to our altar to celebrate their lives and remember them as we have them here every time. And we are, oh, and that is a special bread that we make for Day of the Dead. And
It's good.
So we wanted to invite all the families. You don't need to use the skulls and do all the stuff that we do, but just to do a little corner or little space in your house where you put pictures of all the people that we love that have left us and they are waiting for us in heaven with God, and turn on a little light or something and remember their lives and how happy we were while we were here and how happy we will be once we are all together again.
Thanks, Patty. That was great. So like she said, this weekend in church, we'll have a service of remembrance wrapped into our masses. Where we'll call off the names of everybody in our community and in their families who have passed away this last year. And we'll light a candle for them and we'll remember them at our Mass. But in that same way, you can remember the people from your family and the people that are close in your circle who have passed away. It doesn't have to be this past year, but you can create a little altar in your home with some candles and pictures and remembrances of them, just as a way during this month of November to keep them in mind in a special way, because they influence us. And if you listen to the song from Bruce Springsteen that Father Bob used in his homily, that's a lot about what the song is about remembering those who walked with us, who are no longer with us, and just calling to mind all those wonderful things that they brought into our lives. So, Kat, would you like to talk about what's going on with the middle schoolers?
Yeah, so I'll send an email out to the parents to share with their middle school students, but we'll be meeting next week, the 11th, from 6 to 7. I'll send you a Zoom link. So we'll kind of go through there. And then in your packets were some leaves. So we're going to use the leaves in our, because we talked about leaves last time as a symbol of the Trinity. So we're going to talk about leaves this time as a symbol of thankfulness. So look forward to seeing everybody next week, and I'll send out the email reminder.
Thank you. Deacon Bob, you want to tell us what's on deck for the high schoolers?
Yes, actually, we are going to meet next week as well. And we're going to do it in person. We're going to try to be creative with the way we do this. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to talk about putting some of this stuff into action, and we're actually going to put some of it into action. So next week, Wednesday, and we'll need to send an email out, Mike, I forgot to tell you, but we'll need to do that to get directions and everything. But we are going to invite all the high schoolers with their parents or parent, if they'd to come down to Paul's Pantry, where I work. And I'm going to give you a little tour of the pantry and talk about Matthew 25, which is the homework for the high school kids. So I'd like you to read Matthew 25 before you come, and we'll talk about it at the pantry. And then we have a little bit of a service project to do. And we can accommodate everybody who's probably going to be able to make it. If you're worried at all about some of the safety issues and things like that, be assured I do this just about every day with people coming down to Paul's Pantry. We have the type of project that will allow for adequate distancing. Everybody will either bring a mask or I'll provide you with masks. We have all kinds of sanitizing going on, all kinds of extra things in place to do this as safely as possible. But we want to invite people down to actually get out a little bit. I know the kids are all pretty much, everybody's probably on Zoom for school all day. So while we'll probably still have to do some Zoom meetings, we wanted to take an opportunity to get everybody together in person to really put some of this into action. So that will be next week, Wednesday at 6:30 at Paul's Pantry, from probably 6:30 to 7:30, 7:45.
Thank you. Terry and Patty, do you want to talk about anything for the youngers?
Yeah. You, students from preschool through 5th grade should have received a bag, and there would have been a cross on a necklace or a cross on a keychain for you with a message to remember the Holy Trinity as you make the sign of the cross. During November, kindergarten through 2nd graders, we focus on making the sign of the cross and learning the prayer, the Glory Be. Inside of the Seeds handbook and the Good News handbook, you will find the prayers that you can work on, and they also have some activity pages about prayer. And that's what we do during those age groups. Patty?
I agree. And just wanted to remind everybody to keep thinking on the holy moments in your life, and make sure that while we are thinking and being thankful and all these things that we're living through, every moment that you can find as a holy moment, make sure you acknowledge it.
Thank you. Father Bob, anything you'd want to bring to people's attention that's going on in the parish?
Well, the main thing I would suggest that if you haven't seen the video Ghost, please watch it. It makes sense, and the homily makes more sense. But again, what's going on also in our parish is the November charity is St. John's Shelter. And so just be aware of that. The loose offertory donations go to the shelter or the meals for the shelter. And Mike keeps track of the meals that we're doing at the parish for the shelter, which is 2 Sundays a month. So just keep in touch with that.
Fourth and 5th graders, we're going to ask you to stay around on the Zoom session when we're all done. So we won't have Jamie and Sue talk to the full group right now, because they get your undivided attention in a few minutes. Couple of things as we go. Our next full meeting is November 18th. And one of the things that I just wanted to remind all of us, you know, these nice Beatitude booklets, don't let them just be dust collectors, you know, but for each of them, you can do what we did tonight. We had a great conversation in our group about the Beatitude and how we understand it. There's room there that you can, when we try to envision what that looks like, you can draw a picture there. You can also be creative and say, how would I gesture that? Okay, we learned 6 gestures. You got 6 gestures already. So see if you can come up with 3 more for the other ones, and you can actually make that part of your prayer. Okay, it's always a great thing. I mean, I know that in my group, when we were talking about poor in spirit and they came up with the idea of kneeling, I'm going to always remember that now, that gesture connects with that being poor in spirit. And I'll always, even if I'm not kneeling physically, I'll be kneeling in my head. My knees appreciate that form of kneeling better than actually just kneeling.
It's kneeling in spirit.
Kneeling in spirit. There we go. And also, I just wanted to remind us that all of the things that we've been talking about since September, none of those things expire. These aren't once and done things that we're talking about. All right, we started out the year talking about forgiveness. You know, how we are called to realize that God forgives us initially, but then God calls us to forgive others. You know, what an incredible thing. What a thing that the world needs so much of: forgiveness, reconciliation. Not necessarily going to the sacrament of it, but the idea of the concept of forgiving, you know, of understanding that we've been forgiven and we're called to forgive others. How do we continue that on? That's why we left you with something that hopefully is still hanging around your house as a reminder of forgiveness. I mean, our holy moment chains, you know, those can still be added to. You know, we should always be looking for those holy moments. You know, how do we see the world differently? How do we see God in our midst? That's one of the core promises of the New Testament. That was one of the big things that Jesus taught us, was that God is present in our midst all the time. Can we see that? It takes working on that. It takes people calling our attention to that. Of when we see a sunrise or when we see a sunset, when we see a loving act, when we see someone doing something good for others, you know, it's God being present in that moment. You know, are we naming those things so that we are walking in the understanding that God is continually present to us? You know, all the Beatitudes that we talked about, you know, how do we work those into our life? When we dressed up as saints last time, all those holy men and women that were portrayed for us, a lot of them didn't do anything that was that huge, you know, but they found ways in their life, in the life that they were called to live, to bring God into the world. You know, how can we do that? How can we keep talking about it? So none of those things expire. None of them go away. So keep them around, keep them in our midst. They're all part of continuing our journey. And with that, I would say have a good rest of your November 4th. Pleasant dreams for those of you that are heading off to bed. And 4th and 5th graders, we would like you to stay around for a little bit so that we can meet with you just a little while longer, okay? So have a blessed couple weeks. We'll see you on the 18th. And don't forget, we got middle school events and high school events coming up next week too.